Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Picture the scene. 18 consecutive T20 international innings without reaching 50. An average of 15.116 in that stretch numbers that would embarrass a club cricketer, let alone a former England captain, and one of the most destructive white ball batters the world has ever produced. There is a particular cruelty reserved for great players in decline, a cruelty that whispers louder with every failure. And Buttler had been hearing that whisper for months. Was this it? Was this the slow, sad fade of a genius past his best? English cricket, still reeling from a chaotic test summer, could have been forgiven for bracing itself for more bad news. Instead, they got history. Buttler's 131 is now the highest score of his glittering T20 international career. A man who has terrorised bowling attacks from Mumbai to Melbourne. A man who redefined what a wicketkeeper batter could be in the modern game. For his career best knock to arrive now at 35 in the fifth match of a series England had already won against the reigning T20 world champions, no less, is the stuff you simply could not script. Except, of course, somebody just did. Buttler did, with bat in hand and a point to prove. It started, as these things often do with him, subtly, deceptively. The scoop against Prasidh Krishna arrived early, followed by the reverse scoop, shots that look like showboating until you realise they are in fact surgical. Calculated dismantling of a bowler's plans before he's even had a chance to settle into a rhythm. Then came the 6 over mid-wicket off Arshdeep Singh, and something shifted. You could feel it. The crowd could feel it. Even, you suspect, India could feel it. That India's bowlers already missing the small matter of Jasprit Bumrah and Hardik Pandya simply had no answers left in the book. Whips off the hip, peppering the boundary boards, crunching drives down the ground that had spectators ducking for cover. And then, the moment that will live longest in the memory, Buttler skipping down to Axar Patel, one of the more experienced operators in this India attack, and depositing him over square leg for the 6 that brought up his century. If that had been the end of it, it would already be one of the great England T20 innings. But Buttler wasn't finished humiliating this bowling attack. He mixed the outrageous a deaf ramp shot straight over the head of India's own wicketkeeper. And here's the twist that makes this innings even more remarkable. Buttler wasn't even the headline act for large parts of this innings. That honour belonged to his partner in crime, England's white ball captain, Harry Brook, who produced an innings of such audacious, borderline disrespectful hitting that it deserves its own chapter in this story. 95 not out, off just 45 balls. Numbers that don't just bend belief, they snap it clean in half. Brook and Buttler put on 233 together for the second wicket, a stand that didn't just break England's previous best partnership record. It obliterated it, smashing through the 182 that Dawid Malan and Ewan Morgan had set against New Zealand back in 2019, as if it were a mere speed bump. And as if domestic bragging rights weren't enough, this stand now stands as the new world record second wicket partnership in T20 international history. Let that particular number rattle around India's dressing room for a while. Brook's innings had a different flavour to Buttler's less searching redemption, more a young captain announcing, in the most emphatic way imaginable, that he is exactly the man English cricket needs right now. 2 consecutive mighty leg side sixes off Prince Yadav to get things moving after the early loss of Phil Salt. A trademark lofted cover drive off Axar Patel that sailed into the stands with the casual disdain of a man swatting a fly. And then, in the 10th over, an over that will surely go down as one of the most brutal in England T20 history, Brook nailed Axar back over his head twice for 2 colossal sixes in an over that leaked 25 runs. 25 in 1 over against international bowling. Brook wasn't just playing cricket at this point. He was conducting a public execution. There was still time for 2 more towering sixes off the unfortunate Suryan Shedge in the 14th over, and Brook survived what can only be described as a horror show of a dropped catch from Ishan Kishan when he was on 90, a missed opportunity that will haunt India's fielding coach for weeks. Brook simply ran out of deliveries to complete what would have been a second T20 international century, finishing unbeaten on that extraordinary 95. Here's where the story stops being purely about numbers on a scoreboard and starts becoming about something bigger, something that matters enormously to the future of English cricket. Because this series and this innings in particular from Brook was never just about beating India. Not really. It was an audition. English cricket is still picking through the wreckage of a chaotic period, still processing the shock retirement of Ben Stokes as captain, still waiting nervously to hear what becomes of head coach Brendan to them in this match and across this entire tour deserves its own tabloid headline entirely. A 4-0 series defeat, their first ever winless 5-match T20 series. 6 straight defeats now in completed 20 over internationals, a run of misery that includes the almost unthinkable ignominy of losing to Ireland at the start of what has become an absolute tour to forget. This is the reigning T20 World Cup champions we're talking about, the team that lifted the trophy not that long ago. And now they've been stripped of their #1 ranking, handed over gift wrap to the very team that just dismantled them. There were individual pockets of resistance, to be fair to India. Ishan Kishan and Tilak Varma both brought up half-centuries in the chase, showing flashes of the quality that makes this India batting line up so feared on its day. But 201 for 8 was never, ever going to be enough against a total of 257, England's third highest T20 international score and their highest ever posted against India. And it wasn't just the batting that let India down. Their fielding throughout this innings was shockingly poor. Jube tumbling over in an embarrassing failed attempt to remove Brook on just 3, Shedge shelling the simplest of chances to dismiss Buttler when he'd only reached 101, and then Kishan's horror drop on 90, compounding an afternoon India's support staff will want to forget in a hurry. Spare a thought too for India's bowlers, stripped of their 2 most dangerous weapons in Bumrah and Pandya, visibly rattled and unsure of their lengths as Buttler and Brook teed off. Arshdeep Singh, usually so miserly, somehow contrived to send down 4 wides in a single over that cost 17 runs. When you're bowling scared against batters in this kind of form, this is exactly what happens. India's decision to leave out 15-year-old prodigy Vaibhav Sooryavanshi in favour of the more experienced Sanju Samson will also raise eyebrows given the short straight boundaries and true batting surface matches in this series, with the opening game only denied by rain in Chester Strait. India, the reigning world champions, remain winless since that triumphant night in the World Cup final. It is a stunning reversal of fortune, and it places enormous pressure on new India captain Shreyas Iyer and head coach Gautam Gambhir to explain how a team that ruled the world such a short time ago finds itself here, whitewashed and dethroned. There was even a moment of pure farce to open proceedings as play was delayed by half an hour after India's team bus got caught in traffic on the way to the ground. They may well wish, in hindsight, that they had simply stayed at the hotel and spared themselves the trouble of turning up at all. So where does this leave English cricket as a whole? Well, on the one hand, deeply reassuring. After the turbulence of a Test series defeat to New Zealand, marked by curfew controversies and the sudden retirement of Ben Stokes as captain, this emphatic 4-0 series win over the T20 world champions offers something English fans have been craving: genuine, unfiltered good news. Buttler rediscussed as a batter, but as a leader, at exactly the moment English cricket needs leadership more than ever, might just be the most significant subplot of this entire series. But make no mistake, the bigger questions still loom large over this English summer. Who takes the Test captaincy in the post-Stokes era? Does Brook's white ball brilliance translate into an appointment for the ultimate leadership test, the red ball game? What becomes of Brendan McCullum and Rob Key, with their futures still shrouded in uncertainty? These are the questions that will define English cricket for months, if not years to come. For now, though, on this golden Southampton afternoon, there was only room for celebration for a rejuvenated Jos Buttler, for an emphatic captain's innings from Harry Brook, and for an England side that looks for the first time in a while like it knows exactly where it's heading. And for India, the hard work starts now. A one-day international series awaits at Edgbaston on Tuesday, and Shreyas Iyer's side will be desperate to arrest a slide that has seen the reigning world champions lose their #1 ranking and suffer their first ever winless 5-match T20 series. Whether they can regroup in time remains to be seen. But on the evidence of this Southampton demolition, England will fear absolutely nobody. So here's what we want to know from you. Was this the innings that finally hands Harry Brook the keys to the England Test captaincy? Has Jos Buttler just proven in the most emphatic way possible that 35 is nowhere near finished for a talent like his? And just how worried should India be heading into that one-day series at Edgbaston, given the mess Gautam Gambhir now has to clean up? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. We want to hear every single one of them. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of one of the great England T20 batting performances, you know exactly what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment with your take, and make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell switched on, because this English summer is only just getting started, and Boundary Line UK will be here for every twist, every turn, and every six that clears the rope.